In this lesson, we'll copy and monitor the architect's model into the structural environment. Alright, so now that we have everything linked up, meaning we were able to actually bring in this model into our structural setting, now we need to do some copying and monitoring. Well, what exactly is copying and monitoring, you might wonder? Well, if I hover over this model, what we have here, right now it's acting in a way as if it's one element, and that's pretty much what it is. So when we're doing copying and monitoring, essentially the goal is to copy in all the structural elements from this model into our structural environment. And that's where the copy comes in. And the monitor is actually, once these elements are actually brought into the environment, we can then monitor them, or they will become monitored by whoever else is linked up with this model within the design team. So any changes that we may make to this model, other than running an analysis or something, you'll get a monitor warning or a message letting us know, hey, you're making changes to this model. And both people working on the model will actually be notified about it. So that's one of the great things about BIM. That's the whole collaboration part that you're really getting to witness now. So let's go ahead and start copying and monitoring this guy. So to do that, we'll go back, I believe it's in Collaborate. And you'll notice here underneath the coordinate panel here, we've got copy and monitor. Well, I'm going to click on that element. We have two ways that we can go about doing this. I'm going to go select link. And the link is actually this guy. This entire model currently is the link. So I'll select link, and now I can click on that link. And now I've selected it. Now you'll get this window here, and you see it seems like we need to do something. Well, we do need to do something. We need to copy this in now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to copy. I'm going to go to multiple because I have multiple elements. If I didn't select multiple, I'd have to do a copy for each element, one wall or one structural element at a time. So doing it this way allows me to select multiple. So I'm going to go select this wall, this floor, this beam system, my columns. Now I could have easily just highlighted everything, but I'm going to do this, since we're just starting out, I'm going to do each element, just so you know. So now we have all our main elements highlighted. So now I'm going to click Finish here underneath my options bar. Once you do that, hit Enter, and now hit Finish up here, and your elements should be copied and monitored. And you know they are because you remember when we hovered over this model, it was all one object. It was all included inside that one blue rectangular form, or that cube. Well, now I can hover over all the individual elements. So my beams, actually my columns, structural walls, floors, even this floor here. So that's basically all we got to do at this point to do some copying and monitoring. So let's bring in some other elements that we can't see. So you remember earlier when we tried to bring this model in, we were missing parts, and we actually messed around with material to get those exposed. Well, what if I want to see the actual architectural elements and I don't just want to see structure? I want to make decisions and run analysis on my structure while also knowing what's going on architecturally. So I can easily, kind of work around that with my visibility graphics. And a good example is if we wanted to maybe have the roof in place, or something like that, or maybe see the windows and the railing. Now, I'm not too concerned about the windows and the railing. The openings are good enough for me, and I know the railing is going to go around the perimeter, but I might want to know what's going on with that roof, especially since we're applying loads and stuff. So what we can do is we can jump to the visibility graphics, and what we can do is I can scroll down until I get to the point where I see roof, and I can see it's not selected. So once I select it, I'll click Apply and OK, and there it is. So now, once we start applying loads a little bit later, we can apply it to the surface of this roof, or the surface of the structural wall, or wherever we need to do it. Or if we need to know where this this roof is, or any other architectural elements we may want to expose while we're working with our structure, we can do so with the visibility graphics. So that's another way to kind of adjust what you see and things like that. So now that we have, let's double check and make sure we have everything linked. So what we can do is we can select, and I'm going to go to a filter and see what's linked up here. I got analytical columns, 4 columns, awesome. I got 2 walls, perfect. It's exactly what I want. 2 floors. It's got some wall openings, my rectangular wall openings within there. Structural columns, 1 Revit linked model, And, you know, still my two walls, the structural walls get counted twice. So I'll say, okay, so we're good. Now you'll also notice these little graphics that appear. Anywhere that we've selected and copied and linked or copied and monitored, you'll notice this graphic. So if you ever worry or are in question about what you've copied or did you copy anything over, you can either do the method we just did where you highlight everything and take a look at the filter, or you can hover over any object you have in question, and if you see this graphic here, it's almost like a little heart monitor graphic. It lets you know that these items are being monitored and you're good to go. So easy as that. So in the next lesson, we're going to take it one step further and we're going to see if we can start setting up some load combinations before we start applying loads to this model and trying to run an analysis. So I'll meet you in the next lesson and we'll start loading up some combinations.